Hi guys, WayneCo713. I'm going to show y'all some tips and tricks with the ej0w's RPG kit. Some of these tricks BW King 16 might have on his channel, but this is just because he kind of just went over the basics, so I wanted to go over some more advanced things in the kit that he might not have covered. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Zombie apocalypse.
So as you can see right here, this is the same place that I used for my Orion's kit tutorials. We decided to bail on Orion's kit because of the glitches. So right here is ej0w's kit. Again, this will be like a multi-part tutorial series, but the one thing that I guess the first thing is if you're wondering how to add the splashing water, I just created a part called splash and then added the particle to it, and then you just move it down. You just anchor the particle, you move it down. It's pretty simple. The leaderboards. So the way the leaderboards work is you have the leaderboards and assets. You just go to the board config and you'll see something like this script right here. So you have to give stat path. I would leave this alone as stats, but then you can do level. I actually did some experimentation, so that's like the level. You can also change it to gold, so you can have the highest gold. And then if you change this to kills, this is how you get the highest for kills. You just say stat name and kills. And this is kind of like, why would you do that? But this works. I kind of did it in my game just because I wanted to even number. I haven't tried the attributes yet. Like if I could make a leaderboard for like who has the most dexterity, constitution, stuff like that. Strength. But right here, XP. You can see right here that this XP, that's the thing that you get like right here to level up. But the reason why it's like not really necessary is because when you level up, the XP is going to go down. It's going to reset to 0. So the first thing about these doors right here is this is a level door. So you have the name and the level. So the name, that's what's going to show in the interface. The level right here, that's going to show like, okay, you need to be level 5, for example, to use this door. And then right here, you can set this to nil. If you set this to nil, it means you only have to be at the required level to walk through the door. If you have a tool requirement such as this, as you can see, it's kind of an array right here. Or I guess a dictionary. I haven't really experimented too much in Lua. But this right here is the type. So you'll have tool, armor. Later in the video, I'm going to show you how to make your own type. You have the tool requirement and then how many. It's like 1. It means you must have 1 bronze sword in order to pass through. And it'll show it to you. For the portals, it's the exact same way, except for the portals. You can have yeah. You might be wondering why I have 2 portals right here. So BW King 16 made a universe portal so that just kind of reusing Orion's kit, right? This place equals nil. So the TP right here, this is where you might be able to change it so it uses a part, but I just kind of used the vector new. And these are the coordinates. So when you walk into the portal, it'll like show, okay, teleporting to the abyss. Then it puts you in this place. If you use a place teleporter by BW King 16. That one will also load up the place, so you can have multiple places and it'll take you there. So that's how you do multiple universes. Um, One of the big things I wanted to show was, like, of course, BW King 16. I'm pretty sure he showed this add-on in this video. If he didn't, you can let me know. You can't really teleport, in Roblox Studio, so that's why I didn't really want to go that deep. But let's start off with the first thing that I wanted to talk about. So I wanted to talk about how to make your own class, how to make your own item class. So the first thing you're gonna do is make a new folder in items. Like, let's say you want to make a key, right? I'm gonna go to folder and I'm gonna name it key. You can name it whatever you want. Um, they all got to match though, but I'm just saying, like, you can have, like, what BW King 16 did Night Lordian is he had essential, but like right here you see my RPG. In this config you have the spawn location, so when you do TP to spawn, that's where it puts you. You have the behavior for the XP. You have your starter weapons, your global drops, which means all mobs will drop this, and it tells you exactly right here how you use it. And if I put a 1 after this, it means only one time. This is the behavior of the humanoid, your regeneration, and then if you want to disable the health or mana going up, you just set 0. That's literally all you have to do. Right here for class boosts, looks like you can add some more statistics right here, which is actually pretty cool. But right here, magic melee, this is how mana and all aren't a class. What? Okay. This will probably be in a later part 2 video, but this is like, in a way, this is how you can add elements. Like, you want to have enemies that are fire type, and then a grass type sword could deal more damage to, or like less damage to those fire type ones, right? Where they do more damage to you. But then if you get out a water sword against fire type, it does more damage, something like that. That's what class boosts are for. That's going to be in another part. Luck multiplier, it affects your drop chance, so you can actually have like a luck potion and it will do some things right here. This is the features. You can always enable or disable it. Attributes is your skill tree. Right here are your color presets. You can always change them. Mob rank colors right here. Again, you can just hit enter right here, and you can add a new one. And whenever the mob has that type, it'll match that color. Right here for hit sound, right here where you see ore, you can actually add your own ore type into the game. I was thinking of showing that maybe in a part 2 of how you can add others, but it's really easy. You just have to, the ej0w's kit uses tags, so you just have to put the tag as like a prop, and that should allow it to hit. You have to have the behavior, but essentially, like, you have like a pickaxe mines ore, right? You can do this for like other things, but like if you, I use this in Coastagen to allow you to chop down trees. Right here, this is stuff about like save data. The big thing I wanted to go to was down here. Where was it? This will be covered kind of in another part 2. This actually, I might be able to cover like what each one does here right now. So the attributes, Those are like your skill trees. So whenever you level up, you'll get like a certain amount of points, and you can allocate each point to like different ones. You can actually modify how they behave. So like this one right here where it says 75, it means like, okay, it means you can only have up to 75. But as far as how the boost works, that might be a part 2. But actually he might have it here. Add multiply, that's what it is. But anyway, when you're just playing the general game and they use this, what strength is going to do is it increases the damage. So like it looks like it's got to add and a multiply every time you allocate a point. So essentially what it means is you buff all of your swords, and all your swords are going to do more damage, or like any kind of weapon, you know. Constitution, so so that's going to increase your HP regeneration and your maximum HP, so you'll actually die less. It also increases the chance for mobs to miss you. Remember, if they miss you, you cannot parry back. You can only parry them if they were to have actually landed a hit. So, just wanted to make that clear. Intelligence, that's going to be for your MP. So when you're using staffs or spells, it increases. It kind of does the same thing as Constitution, but it does it for your MP. And then Dexterity, it increases the critical chance. That's pretty much all I have to say. Right here's the main part that I wanted to talk about. So right here, by default, you have Tool. That's your sword, your axe, you know, pickaxe, bow and arrow, etc. Armor is going to be the stuff you put on for defense. Accessory, that's something new. So sometimes it just acts like armor. You know, it can you can kind of specify what you want it to do. Oftentimes they have a keybind, and like for one of the built-in ones, I know if you press the R button, it like sends a shockwave. It knocks back mobs and it stuns them. Spells, they're kind of broken, but you can configure like a certain projectile to come out, or I typically use it only for healing. Like you get a heal spell and then you heal. Consumable, that's your apple, that's your potions. You eat the potion and then it gives you the effects, but it takes it away. And then you have material. Material is what you get, you know, when you mine the ore, when you chop down the trees, etc. This is probably stuff I'm explaining that's maybe not that advanced. So the advanced thing I want to talk about is how to make your own class. So as I showed you earlier, you know, I made the folder called key. The next thing I have to do is actually make the class. So if I do accessory right here, and let's say I do key, you have to say but let me do I'm gonna grab these right here from material. Let's say for key, I just say false, so that you can't stack the keys. Let's make this green, because that's how it is in my game. And we're gonna do 7, and then yeah, that's about it for that end. But you still have to change some other things, and ej0w kind of tells you how to do it, but those are the kind of the two things she doesn't tell you. Is she doesn't tell you everything. Like I had to make the folder, right, and items. I had to add it as a category in game config. So the next thing you have to do is you have to see where it says right here. So this is the last two things I have to do. So item subcategories. I believe that's... Okay, maybe not. um, Client. Is it user interface? I found it at one point. Maybe it's in server storage. Here it is. It's in server storage modules, and you're gonna want to go to this item subcategories right here, and just duplicate one of these, whichever you want. Call it like key or something, right? Then we go into here. That's pretty much it right here. It's really simple. And honestly, if you look at, like, let's say accessory, it's defines the behavior. It defines how it works. So a lot of them are going to be relatively the same. So since I kind of had it based off of a kind of like accessory or something, and material, I wanted it to kind of behave like material, where you don't see the key. So yeah, this is like your key right here, right? So that's basically done. And then what you want to do next is, there was another part that ej0w's said, so it was advanced callbacks. So callbacks, that's not it. I'm just gonna search it. It's advanced. I just want to, like... Oh, activated. My eyes are like, okay. Uh, I didn't actually see where it was, but I think this is replicated. And I think also under modules. Yeah, activated callbacks right here. You're just gonna take one of the callbacks, like right here. Honestly, this is for material. You're just gonna do it right here for key. Obviously, if this is a tool, all you have to do is the folder and add it in the category. That's all you have to do. But a combination of all that, and then it should work. I'm gonna go ahead and take one of the keys from my other game. Um, it won't take me that long. I'm just gonna go to the... I'm just gonna grab, like, the starter key, one of the portal room keys from, like... Just give me a minute. I apologize. Okay, so Like I'm gonna add a key into here. You can honestly just do like any key you want. You can do like a fancier key model, and you can use this tool group extension to make it. It's not gonna matter the way I did it because you're not gonna actually see it. You're not gonna be able to equip it. But the idea is that like okay, you put in a key, put in the item config. You're gonna do something similar like what you have for item. Now your type's gonna be key. And then you can say something like I'm just gonna say nil because I don't really need a tooltip here. It's just a tutorial. Um, and let's just say grass key, right? And let's change this to. I know you can't see the color palette, but I'm selecting forest green. I'm gonna say let's do like grass key, and then now if I like let's say this level door right here, dark forest. This is how to add multiple tools, by the way. Let's say I want it to require another tool. So let's say key grass key, right? Um, so let's hmm, let's put in the goblin. So you'll treat it just like a tool, right? You have the tool, you can say something like thinking about what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, you see I have iron sword, so you just change it to the type of the class you made. It doesn't have to just be keys, it can be like any type, right? So then you do grass key, and let's say it's a 100% chance and that it only drops once, right? So if I start this right here, um, you'll notice I spawned in, everything seems to go well. If I hit F9, you know, it seems well, right? So you'll notice right here, it said, oh no, I don't have the grass key. I can't go in, right? You see that? Can't go through the door. If it was a portal, you can't go through the portal, right? But if you go ahead and kill the so-called mob, so if you just, you know, just say, okay, I'm going to kill the goblin, right? There you go. Drops the key. Hang on a second. It appears I forgot to do something. I had this problem before. It does recognize it right there, so I obviously forgot something. It's no biggie, actually. It's probably just a minor thing that I forgot. Um, key. It should have shown up when it dropped. That was a little weird. Wait, did I call it? Maybe that was part of the problem. Grass key. Grass key. Okay, so it recognizes it. I didn't have this problem last time when I did all that. Advanced. Alright, this might be all I do. Items, key. Hang on a second. That's what I did to make the key, okay? Um, I don't fully remember what else I did. I'm just trying to figure out why it gave me the key and it didn't. I was gonna show like more stuff too, because I have a lot more things to show for this part. I didn't realize I was gonna run into this error. Oh, that's why. Okay, it worked the whole time. I'm honestly just okay. That is actually interesting. Why did it appear in the hotbar? That's what it is right here. It works. Hang on a second. Game config. Yeah, yeah. Don't worry. I had it. Okay, bro. What is going on here? It would appear as if I like bricked the slot. So I thought that was a little weird. But yeah, it works. Because it shows it in green. What I was trying to get it to show is what you see in Ravecraft. Maybe maybe when you get more tools, it'll cause the key actually. Let me do that real quick. I'm just gonna say bronze sword light, and we're gonna take the bronze sword light and I'm gonna just add it to the starter items. I just want to see what it does. Bro. Okay. I might have to explain that in another part. That is like really weird. Oh, I know why. I typed it in a hurry. Come on, why isn't it? Okay, I don't understand why. Okay, I just discovered an error that I didn't realize existed. You see, the thing that I was expecting to happen with the key is that it would go into inventory since you can't equip it. Maybe to mount only? I actually don't know. Just trying to get it so that you can move the thing in the inventory. Okay. That's not it. I'm gonna go ahead and just set this to false. There we go. And then I can grab that here. And then if I set this back to true, and that should fix it. Voila, right there. And see, it shows it right here as key. So if you do this, it shows all your list of keys right here. And now that I have the grass key, now I can just go through right here. See, the door fades. So that's how you do it. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is the dialogs. Or actually, I can go over the spawn bosses. I'll go over the spawn bosses because that won't take too long to cover. I'm not really going to show off like what each different one does. And I actually don't fully know what they all do, but what I'm just going to talk about is just how to it kind of shows you right here. So what it is right here is like with pirate so what this is right here is by default you're not going to see this function right here. This comment was reminding me to make a video of this. So this right here is the time. So if it's clock, I only know clock and check. I don't know event yet, but event looks like it's like if a script happens or something in the code changes, it's able to spawn it. But I'm not that advanced yet. So clock, what it means is like, so this is saying like right here, it means every 3 minutes, 180 seconds. It's a little misleading right here, but that does not mean despawn. It's duration until spawn. So it'll subtract down from 3 minutes, and after 3 minutes it will spawn in. And actually, like, what will happen is you'll actually see the exact location. Like, it will show the place it will spawn with a timer. And then when it goes down to 0, it will spawn it in. And then this despawn right here is how long you have to kill it. After 60 seconds, it'll just despawn. Um, So if you do check, so you know, in the old games you probably had the probability one, right? Where you had 1 in 10, 1 in 100, 1 in 1000. So the way it worked, you know, in Orion's kit and Droplet's kit is every second, you know, like a tick every second, um, it checks, it kind of rolls the dice, and like, you know, you say 1 in 1,000, right? So that probability gets re-rolled every second. So every second, there's a 1 in 1,000 chance that that mob spawns in, and then you have the idea of like, you know, rarities, like, you know, epic, common. I haven't really gotten that far yet as to how to get the rarities, but you know, I'm just saying that you can actually have the rarities here. You can have like epic, legendary, stuff like that. The way you do it is you do this request function, which ej0w actually has right here. So the idea is you have you don't need this boolean right here. You just have to have n. The idea is you want to return. So you have this function right here. I guess right here you can store it in a variable if you want to. I haven't really just like experimented with that, but if you store, the idea is you want to make a local variable. I called it chance, and this math.random, it's going to make a random number, right, between 1 to 1000. Well, I guess it's technically like 1 to 999 maybe. I don't know if the 1000's inclusive or not. It might be up to but not including. So if that's the case, it's 999. But the idea is, like, you say this right here, you have 1 in 1000 chance, because you're setting the range, and then you can do any number you want. I just did 1 because it's simple. It's the smallest number it can return. So but obviously, since you have 1000 numbers for it to choose from, the probability that it will land 1 is 1 in 1,000. So it still creates, and it checks every second. So this is how you can get the rarities for the spawn bosses. And then, you know, when the chance is 1, this returns true, the boss spawns. If it doesn't, the boss just doesn't spawn. Now, obviously, this will not be checked when the boss is already spawned. Instead, this code will run right here. You can set a position right here, so you can do like mob spawners or something like that. And then the color, that'll just show like, okay, so and so is spawned, right? So that's how that works. So for the dialogs, where are the mobs? Right here, right? So there's 2 types. There's dialogue and quest. There's actually 3. I will be covering 3 types. The third type's an add-on, but built into the kit, you have dialogue and quest. So this NPC dialog, the name is the name that is going to appear when you interact with it. The close distance is like how long it, like how far away you have to be to interact with it. You can actually have an idle animation. And then this is how you do the dialogue. So you can just have like you can have multiple in a row. Like, hi, I can say like um how are you? Just something like that, right? Um what's actually happening under the hood right here is there's a tag called dialog, and in the torso there's something called a proximity prompt. So this proximity prompt is what you have to have in the mob. So you have to have the proximity prompt and You have to have the proximity prompt and the tag and, a script. I hope I'm not missing anything else. But yeah, so if I go ahead and test this out, it's, I actually don't know where the mob or the NPC is, but it can just be something like as simple as, yeah, peasant, right here. Hi, I've been hanging around these parts for a while. How are you? You just hit the continue button, right? And then the X takes you out right away. So simple as that. That's how it works. So now for the quests. So the quests is the thing you've been waiting for. The thing BW King 16 probably did not cover. So again, you have the name and the close distance. You have additional dialogs. So and you still have the animations already taken. This is what happens if the player speaks to them while they're in the middle of a quest. Obviously, if you're in the middle of a quest for that NPC, you can't start another quest or you can't start over. This is the dialogue that will return. What I'm about to show you later, you can set a level requirement on the quests. If the level is too low, you can set this dialogue, and this this S represents a string, and the variable that is going to be the level. So it's actually pretty cool. And then when you get to the end of the quests, you can just say, yeah, you've already completed my quests, right? So so here you have the quests. So and you can have multiple. All you have to do is just copy and paste this. Again, it actually says right here, but you just copy and paste this again and you change stuff. This position right here, it actually sets a quest marker. So if you really want to, you can have like the world location, right, of the quest markers. You can just steal the code from the portal, you know what I mean? You can do that, and right where that area is, open a marker. If you set this to nil, it'll just not have a marker. So going back up right here, the statistics. So when you this is like the rewards, right? So you're gonna get this much gold, you're gonna get this much XP. Again, you can reward kills and level. No problem. Items, you don't have to have any items if you don't want to. You can just do an empty array. But if you really want items, this is how you do it. You can have it drop an item. Requirements. So this is where things could get interesting. Um, so you have mobs. So all you have to do is have it match the same name as the mob name. Not the thing you named it in Roblox Studio, but the mob name in just where you have in the mob config the mob name. And so you have this is the number. So like what this is saying is for this quest, you have to kill 25 goblins and you have to kill 1 pirate. Unlike the previous kits though, the quest automatically completes for you. In the previous kits, you had to go back to talk to the NPC to get the reward, like the tools and statistics. It automatically does that for you. So this, you can set a level requirement or even a gold requirement. It doesn't it's not change of stats, which means like you just have to be at least level 10 to complete the quest. You have to have at least 35 kills to complete the quest. That's what it means. And then objectives right here. So this is interesting. So like if you want to have like a key requirement, you can do a key requirement for a quest. So if you want to have a key required just to complete a quest, you can do this right here. So you just say like obtain, you put the name right here of what it is, and you can just say obtain a grass key, right? and then you would just say find in backpack grass key. And what that does is when you pick up the grass key from the mob, um, it will it will it's checked every second, so every so many seconds, I guess. But when you get, as soon as you obtain that item, that's checked off the list in the quest. Now right here, this is the name of the quest. The name of the quest will appear when you pull up the quest tab. And then you have the dialogs right here, which is, you know, your typical dialogs that I just showed you in the dialogue. But at the end of continue, the quest starts. And right here is the level requirement. So it will only give them this dialogue that you see right here if they are at that level. Otherwise, it will be this this one right here. This one. So repeatable, it means that I haven't fully seen how you repeat quests, if that just pops up as an option, or you know, if you know, if you complete it, you're just able to do it. Succession is interesting. So I haven't tried these two out, but if you like copy and paste it and you go ahead and change the quest, change dialogues, etc., what it will do is if you put it after, it'll go through this quest first, and you have to complete this quest. And then when you complete this quest, it will execute the next quest when you talk to the NPC again. If succession is false, you have to talk to the NPC again, and you have to, of course, be at the level requirement. If succession is true, it immediately starts the next quest, and you don't have to talk to the mob. Or sorry, I keep saying mob. I'm at NPC. Like as soon as it's completed, it gives you that quest. That's what it means. And you know, all you have to do is like if I hit play, you see these three tabs right here. So this one right here is the attributes tab. So this was where I was talking about where you can allocate points, you know, to the attributes. Like let's say I allocate 5 right here, and let's say, oh no, I allocated to the wrong one. You can reset your points. It will give you a warning. It gives you your 5 points back, and then you can put it in something else. It's actually pretty cool. It refunds you the points. You can put it back in however you want. But moving on, the very next thing is that's going to be the quest. So right here, you know, it says please come again later, right? But if I talk to this person right here, the wandering peasant, hey there, I was wondering if you could. So you see the differences. Obviously, I'm not going to get the quest because I hit X, right? You have to go through the rest of the dialogue. Right here, you see there's no symbol. If I go right here, there is a symbol. It's like, okay, they've been terrorizing, canon, right? You see, you've been given the quest. Now, when I go here, it shows Adventure 2. If you click this pen, it shows you exactly what you need. So, like, you know, I need the level, the kills, the mobs, and of course I have an iron sword, so that's already done. But it shows you a progress bar, and it's really cool. Now, if you want to cancel the quest, you hit this X right here, and the quest is canceled. So, like, let's say I don't want to do this, cancel the quest. All you have to do. And, you know, it just restarts the dialogue. If I talk to him again, yep. For some reason, the continue's a little bugged. But if I go right here, the only thing I'm not sure about is if it saves quests. I don't think it saves quests. So I think if I stop it, I think it also treats it as a cancel, like if you exit the game. No, it doesn't. Okay. But the quests don't sync across universes. Okay. All right, so the final thing I wanted to cover in this video, and this is the third dialogue. What is oh that's the crafting shop. I haven't fully experimented with crafting. Okay, this might have to be another. Wait, are you for real? Can you set a level requirement to access like a shop? Maybe just crafting. Well, that's good to know. For the like NPCs, like shop and all, you know how I go to them and they like show one of the things? This is how I do it right here, dialogs. Kind of similar. It just random it just cycles through them. Pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, so for this third dialogue, the third type, it's called boss dialogue. To do that, you want to use calypsos. So if I do calypso, I believe it's calypso. Hang on a second, I'll find it. Right here. So what this does, so the way you have to do it, it's a little bit weird, but I think I can explain it okay. So you're gonna get this thing called dialogs right here. So what you want to do is you want to put this boss dialogue in the UI. So the starter GUI boss dialogue. So that's it actually blends in with ej0w's kit, like you wouldn't even notice. I mean, you kind of notice if you're playing on the phone because it's a little bit higher. Like I noticed some small things, but overall it does actually do that. There are some glitches if you saw my Coastagen live stream with what I'm talking about, but the next thing you have to do is the remotes. So all you literally have to do is take this folder, put it in replicated storage. Done. Um, it will handle the remotes from right here. Um, then you have example, right? So the example right here, what each of these parts are going to have an activate script, and you can have like any part, right? So the way this works is you're going to have event, and you're going to say, rs remotes dot dialog. It's in that folder. So when the player touches the part, or it's just inside the part, so really I have these invisible parts you walk through. That's how it works. Event fire client. So you're going to say player because you're saying, okay, send it to the player. This is going to be the name of the boss. So if you have a boss that you want to talk to, or I've creatively used it outside of bosses. So you can use boss dialogue to be like if you have a companion with you, and or you want to tell a story, you can have a narrator just say things right here. You can have it makes it cool because like if you're fighting a boss, the boss is actually talking to you. The boss could be taunting you, but you can also have kind of a story. You go into the worlds, it gives you kind of a story. You can have like maybe a companion is with you the whole time that's talking to you, and then the companion talks to you. That's up to you, whatever you do with your RPGs. But right here, this this parameter right here is the dialogues. You're going to have an array. This is going to be the size of the array, so the number of dialogues. And then this is the color. So you're going to actually you can actually make your own color that appears. So it's actually really cool. So now normally you would have this transparency set to 1. you would have it completely transparent. But for just the tutorial here, I'm going to leave it unchecked, or I'm just going to leave it on transparent. I'll just have it like the zones here. The lighting and sound zones I will probably cover in a future video. Part 1, this was just about spawn bosses and dialogs. Like if I go right here, right, the mob might kill me, but it's fine, right? So if I go right here, you see skeleton lore talks. It says you fell into my trap. You can creatively have other people talking. This was kind of how you had it. Like, okay, like you can tell, okay, the player's now saying, uh-oh. And then now skeleton lore is saying, now you die. No, I will fight and lose. Goes away, right? But so the glitch sometimes occurs when you go to another one, right? Like right here, Bob. That one, you know, was kind of unprofessional, but this is the default, literally, if you get Calypsos. But see that glitch right there? So sometimes that glitch can happen, and I don't know, like that's something. Like, see, it says what, and if I go over here, it just says pretty cool. So one thing to do, a kind of a temporary fix, but it'll still happen again, is if you click X right here, it will actually reset the code. So, um, yeah, it's a little weird glitch, but, you know, it works. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. I guess I can't show you the zones, but I can just partially talk about them, just like how the props are going to be. So the idea of a zone, and this can just be zones in general. This is your music right here. So if you want to have like music zones, the only problem about using this, I use Sendering's music zones. It's like background music zones or something like that. You can like use that and set it to like I'm sure everyone knows what it is. You can just type in Sendering and then it pops up, you know. But Sendering music. But the difference is like with Sendering, you get a UI button that allows you to turn off the music. You unfortunately cannot turn off the music here. There might be a way to code that in so that you can with the zones. Like a button to just tell it to, you know, to turn off the music. But yeah, so the sound effects right here, it kind of tells you how it works. So you have an ID, but you can also set a volume for the music. And if you set it to nil, there's just no music at all. But that's in the zones. For what I'm talking about. There is a little bit of a glitch sometimes where the sound effect or it just won't recognize the zone, you know, until you equip a sword. The lighting, so this is cool right here. So the lighting, it actually allows you, so if you noticed, like, when you load in a kit, you probably noticed that there are, in the map folder, is it? Assets? Okay, I actually don't remember where it is. But somewhere in the kit, you'll see some lighting, and the idea is it will actually change the sky. So if you touch it, it will change this blue sky to whatever the lighting is set to in the template name. The area right here, that's going to appear like somewhere right here, and it will tell you, you know, the desert. And you can have it show nothing. And then you can have a color, you know, a color for the for that. I think that might be a transition thing. Don't quote me on that. Um, but yeah, and then there's the sound example right here. This is kind of how you use that. So I mean, it's pretty cool, I think. And the cool thing is if you use it exactly like this right here, you can set multiple. This comma right here, you can set multiple, and it will just go through all of the music. I'm not sure if you can do multiple lighting though. Again, I'll probably test it in another part, but yeah. Let me just search for lighting. Okay, assets lighting. It's in replicated service. So, yeah, so in replicated service, yeah, assets. So there's effects. You know, that'll probably be in another part, but you can put your props there when you make your props. Projectiles, lighting right here. So you make a folder, you put the information, right? Sunset gives you this. Pretty self-explanatory. So that's how you do it with the zones. As far as testing it, I'll probably go more in depth once I figure out how more of that works. Chests, you know, there's still chests to cover. BW King 16, you know, has a tutorial on how to change the portals. But other than that, yeah. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more Roblox content or tutorial. Be sure to comment, you know, video ideas if you have an idea. Be sure to check out my other channels. And until next time, Waiting Coast out.